I would like to know those areas where you want a change
Where I want to change. For instance,
in the constitution. First we'll talk of that, then we will go to the different laws beyond constitution.
in the constitution, I would like all the other fundamental rights that you have provided. There are many of the rights which should be rights which are excluded today. Through the UPA-1 government, we tried to extend that. Right to education, right to food. What I would want is also to add right to employment.
In the chapter 3 of the constitution.
I mean, it should be there in the constitution, because the state's responsibility. That if somebody does not get employment, then the state will have to look after that person. So that right to employment should be there. Otherwise, I think we are sitting on the precipice of a volcano right now. If that just
But sir, you want to include that right without creating the corresponding infrastructure?
No, we should. That is, therefore, that follows. What are the obligations of the government? That infrastructure building is necessary, and that is our what you call entire dispute with the government. We had the dispute with the Congress government, Dr. Manmohan Singh, and now what Dr. Manmohan Singh was pursuing is being pursued by this BJP government more aggressively. And this is a lethal combination. I called it as a venal cocktail in the parliament. Venal cocktail of your economic reforms trajectory and communalism. You see, this is excluding 4/5 of India out of the development story. And all that 4/5 is being pushed into fratricidal wars and tensions.
What about center-state relations? Especially my focus is on what is happening in Arunachal.
Yes. That is,
what are your comments on that?
You please realize that we were the first victim of Article 356, and we were the party that was.
Your government was dissolved.
Dissolved. Kerala government in 1959, 57 we were elected, 67 we were elected, 69 it was dissolved.
You would like to do away with that power?
No,
center's
no.
Power?
That's what we said. That power has to be, very, very radically circumscribed. There may be situations.
Like some neutral arbitrators who could decide.
Yeah, that's what. And we have given our proposals in order to how to circumscribe them. Article 356. But no other government of the day accepts it. Otherwise, Arunachal can't happen. If that circumscribing, was done. So, center-state relations, Article 356, there are some articles where some changes are required, like the fundamental rights, which we discussed. But there's also one more aspect I want to say, that in today's world, the time has come where we need to relook at the Constitution and to ensure that every international treaty that the government enters into must be subject to parliamentary approval.
Yes.
Now, you see, what is happening with your GATT negotiations in Nairobi? Now, if the government of the day goes and agrees saying that our food holding, the right to hold food stocks, if that the government of the day compromises, then the entire food security program, conception, public distribution system, the whole thing will collapse in India if you don't have public stock holding of food grains.
Sir, what do you feel? We are controlled more today by the Indian capitalists or the foreign capitalists?
Increasingly more by the foreign, and the Indian capitalists and foreign capitalists are also in collaboration. So you can't really separate the two now. That is misfortune. That's a misfortune. There's a misfortune today because you have the Indian capitalists are also tied to the to international finance capital. And that is why you really can't make.
There is no antithesis between the two.
I hope there is. I'm looking for it. If there was,
like I thought it was made out that policies are like, okay, we will support our Swadeshi capitalism against.
No, but where? You see, your Swadeshi capitalism, your Swadeshi capitalist goes abroad to raise money. Raises money from the international finance markets. Your financial markets are open to international agencies. So where is that Swadeshi? The RSS has virtually given up its whole concept of Swadeshi. Earlier, they used to always talk in terms of Swadeshi and Videshi. Today, all that they are doing is that the Indian capitalist class becoming a junior partner of your foreign capital, and their objectives converging. So India becomes, in that sense, more amenable to foreign capital's quest for maximizing profits, and the Indian capitalist playing the second fiddle in that role. Otherwise, why would you tell me? Why would an Indian capitalist allow the foreign capitalists or the foreign countries to actually access the Indian agricultural market? They subsidize, a phenomenal subsidy. 14 billion is what the US and the EU subsidize their farmers. Those subsidized dairy products, farm products, if they come into the Indian market, what will your farmer do? Your Annadata?
More suicides.
More suicides.
Sir, I missed your comments on Dhirubhai Ambani, the face of Indian capitalism, if you permit me to say, getting the Padma Vibhushan award. What is it? Did you cringe when you hear that, or these are the signs of the times?
These are the signs of the times, unfortunately. This is what I would say. I mean, I define crony capitalism as saying where the state also becomes.
I really missed your comments on.
No, but I said it but I think this has become the order of the day, where you see that capitalists, Indian capitalists controlling, let's say, the Indian politics to such an extent. What are the reforms? What needs to be done? What should be pushed through? That is all today. In direct.
Which are the new laws you would like to push? One is a change in constitution.
Yeah.
That apart, I remember something in your Rajya Sabha's famous speech you had advocating some 10 laws.
Yeah.
Can you please briefly elucidate?
No, you see, the laws, one is your labor laws. Today,
What basic change?
They want a change from the other side, saying give us the right to hire and fire, no protection for the labor. But the change I want is from the other side, from the side of the labor. 93% of your workforce in India, what you call the working class, 93% is in the informal sector. Informal in the sense that they are either on contract or temporary or casual. They don't have the organized labor's rights of collective bargaining, etc. How can any modern democracy function that way? Even in the biggest of your
with clipped wings.
how can you have a situation where 93% of your workforce is out of any negotiating table? The country cannot survive for long. So therefore, those changes are absolutely required. Secondly, changes by law will have to be brought in many areas. Which I would want. One is in actually the functioning of our parliament and our democracy. You see, we say we the people. Starts. Sovereignty is with the people. People exercise that sovereignty as you and I will elect our representative to the parliament.
Yes.
That representative is answerable to me. The government of the day is answerable to that representative. If parliament does not function, the whole chain breaks. That you require a constitutional amendment, I would want, to make it mandatory that at least 100 days in a calendar year, the parliament does business. Otherwise, how will you function a democracy? Where is the people's sovereignty? It breaks through. I would want constitutional amendments.
Sir, but people say you don't allow the parliament to function.
No, I'm saying that the ruling party doesn't. You answer our questions, parliament will function.
Yeah.
And their job is to answer questions. If a Minister for External Affairs is a serious charge of doing some favor to somebody.
Yes, we want these institutions to function. We are pressing things like Lokpal. Where has Lokpal reached, sir? What has happened?
What has happened? You tell me.
And the Right to Service Act, where it has.
It is, and the Whistleblowers Act.
Yeah.
All these important things, whistleblowers are being murdered by the day.
Yes.
Everybody is coming. No, I would want these changes, change the constitution to ensure mandatory parliament doing business for 100 days. If the British parliament can meet for close to 160 days a year, this is the Gujarat model coming into the parliament. In Gujarat, the assembly never meets more than 30 days in a year. Now you're bringing it to the parliament. The whole constitution structure collapses. Like this, there are many areas in which some fine-tuning is necessary.
Yes.
A National Judicial Commission. And see, this is where the government becomes suspect always. The government's interest was to bring in National Judicial Appointments Commission. They are keen on controlling appointments. We are saying what appointments is only one part of the whole thing. I mean, you have now who will judge the judges?
True.
They're also human beings.
Sir, a different question. We had expectations from your party that you would play a key role in return of the Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai days. But is Mr. Modi doing it? Is that happening?
I don't think so. Hindi Chini Bye Bye days are not suitable for American strategic interest today. American strategic interest is to contain China. And in order to contain China, they want India to be a partner of America.
Yes.
So that is I think, a big pressure on the Indian government. I mean, it appears that they are actually not moving in the interest of our country. I mean, China and India are two growing economies. Yes. The economic synergy between the two of us can do wonders. And please remember, before colonialism came, 80% of global trade was controlled by China and India those days, 18th century. 80%. It is not for a joke that the Silk Route ended in, in China. So, but all that was looted by the colonial powers. Today, if these two giants come together, it can change the face of global economy. Yes. And that is what America would never want.
We appreciate your concerns on national interest, sir. Sir, you are in Goa now, and we have last 3 minutes left. You have been moving in Goa. What is the best things that is in Goa's interest that you feel that needs to be done? With that, let us.
One thing about Goa, I can tell you, it's an admirable people. And the reason I'm saying this is in today's milieu in the country, where hatred, fratricide, all that is going. Here you have absolutely people who are have come to terms. You'll have your past, your Portuguese past, but you'll have your Christianity, you'll have your Hindus, you'll have your Konkani, these things, you'll have that wonderful mixture and coexisting. For the future of Goa, this is your biggest asset.
Yes, yes.
I mean, your natural resources are being looted, all your illegal mining and all the thing that is happening. And with a certain degree of proper perspective planning. I mean, you're developing your tourist sector, you can't just live off the tourist sector and hope it'll happen one slump in the tourism and then Goa will be badly finished. Your infrastructure building, and there's so much here that can be developed. You have your water resources, you have your mineral resources, and so a sustainable base needs to be developed here.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that is not happening. And your wonderful, God's own country, Kerala took away, but God's own cousin, like the Goa should be. Look at your coconut, controversy now. Look at your entire environmental, issues that are coming. Unnecessary. While protecting that environment, you can convert this into a greater heaven, where people would want to see, not merely to use your beaches.
Yes.
But actually see the wonders that are there here.
Thank you, sir. We really hope that your words will come true and will become.
Thank you so much.
much.
Wish you all success.
Thank you, sir.